Hello everyone, Zelrant here, and today we're going to be taking a look at my top 5 units for my reroll targets within Etheria Restart. Now this is going to be a very subjective list, and these are just units that I like the unit themselves, I like their kit, and they are units that I feel like I could build around when the game comes out, and of course my cat wants to join me for this. Now, with this list on here, there's going to be 2 units that I will be excluding from it, because they are units I will be able to get fairly easily, so they're not really reroll targets, because I will be getting them just because of the nature of how the game's going to launch. And one of them is going to be the unit in here that we have the 7-day commission. We will be able to get a copy of Ling Leo, and so she's not going to be a reroll target for me. Actually, she's going to be a anti-reroll, because I do not want to get her, because we're already getting a free copy of her. So when it comes to this banner, I'm going to be excluding her from my targets, simply because we already will be able to get a copy of her. The same is going to be said for Freya here. She is not going to be a reroll target for me, because I can get a guaranteed copy of her within this limited banner here. And so I do not want to get her when I pull on this banner here. Now, I will say that she's absolutely my favorite character in the game right now, Freya. But that she's just being excluded because I'm going to get her regardless. So I will not be targeting her. And my goal is actually to get 2 of the units within this banner that are not those 2 at the start of the game. One of them we can get guaranteed within the targeted summon, so my rerolling process is going to be able to get another one of them from this one, hopefully fairly early in the game with my pulls as I reroll, and then get the other one there based on synergies in that. So, the first unit, now I've already covered, I think 2 of the units here on this list that I'm going to be targeting. The first one here is going to be Rosa. One of the big reasons for Rosa, one, she just looks badass and cool, but the other is that she looks like she's going to be both good on the PvE and PvP side. One of the big things I want to make sure in this game is I'm able to do the PvE content without as much difficulty. Some of the units are very PvP focused and will not be as good on the PvE side. And so I want to kind of avoid those ones in the initial parts of the game, simply because I want to be able to get through the PvE content a little bit easier, because that's going to help me level up and get to keep myself at a capable level to at least be able to do PvP in the future a little bit more. And so she's good at both of them, which is really good. Very big crit damage dealer here, as well as having some speed manipulation in their kit. So one of the big things I'm actually looking for in a lot of the characters, and you'll notice this is kind of a trend of all of my top ones, is they all have some form of turn manipulation, whether it's manipulating the turn meter or increasing your speed or decreasing the enemy speed. And Rosa has that built into her kit with the speed, but she also has the ability to give your entire team a crit, which is one thing that you're going to probably be struggling with at the beginning of the game as well, because you're not going to have all your gear with good rolls on it that give all the crit rate you need. So she can give that to your entire team, and then as you have higher crit rate, she can completely take advantage of all your team members' crits, and it buffs her up through that. I think she's going to be an overall great character on both the PvE and PvP side. So if I do get a copy of her on the reroll when I'm rerolling, it's an absolute yes. I'm going to stop there and then take that account and go from there. But Rosa's the first one on my list here. Now you're going to find a common theme on all my characters, which may end up being a problem for me initially when it comes to the elements, but all of my targets, at least the top 3 of them, are in this the blue or water element here. Because the second one here is going to be Tiamat, and I think this is going to be a target for a lot of people, especially from the last beta. She was like one of the best units. One of the big things for her is she is very good on the PvP and PvE side, so she's very balanced on both sides. And I think she's like going to be outright one of the best ones for doing the PvE content initially. And that's because she has a lot of stuff going on in her kit. She has that ultimate form where she can transform and does big AoE damage, which is always nice. Now she has like in her kit where she's like having damage done to her, she kind of taunts the enemy. But she also has a little bit of the ability to heal your team with her shield, as well as give shields to your team. I believe there's other characters that have shields in them as well. I haven't really looked heavily into them, but I really liked her having the shield. That's going to be nice. Now, she's not going to be able to be a dedicated healer. You're still going to want to heal her, which that one of the free units we're getting, or that one free unit we're getting is a healer. So you're not going to have to actually worry about healer, because we'll be getting one with that one event. But she has that. She can do a lot of damage. She can give yourself shields. She can heal. She can taunt. She does a little bit of everything. She's kind of like a damage dealer, tank, and healer, all kind of built into one. So overall, I think she's probably going to be like the #1 pick unless her kit changes for a majority of people who want to go at it from a meta level. But she also just looks good, and that's another reason as well. And she's probably, if I do not get her when I do my rerolling, she's probably going to be the one that I use my guaranteed beginner's banner on the targeted summon. But she is going to be my second one on the target. The third one's actually going to be another unit that I have not actually covered yet, and that's going to be Suki Mi here. Another unit that has one of the big things that you're going to see as a common trend, which is turn manipulation in her kit. One thing that's also nice about her is she's a defense stacking unit, so everything stacks based off defense in her kit. So she's going to have that unique capability. So when you get all those defense pieces that you're like, these are garbage, no, they're not, because she really wants that. And so she does her damage based off defense, but then increases the turn meter on ally with attack. With the highest attack by 25%. I think that's just great. Speeding up your main damage dealer, because she can do damage, but she's not your main damage dealer. But she can speed up your main damage dealer, which I think is just outright broken for her on her kit here. And then having all that defense, she's going to be able to take hits a lot herself. But then not just here, you have it like in her AoE here. She has silence, which is another kind of CC on your enemies to kind of prevent them from utilizing all their skills. And then also reduces skill cooldown for all of your allies. I think that's going to be really big on certain units that may have... Now, this is a 4-turn cooldown on itself, but this is, I think, going to be really useful for PvP more specifically, simply because being able to reduce all of your allies' skill cooldowns at the initial start can give you a big advantage on an opponent that may not have that capability. Now, there are other characters that have stuff like this in their kit as well, but I like this one in hers. And then you also have the buff with attack and speed. So speed's always going to be great. Make your team faster. Have another character make the other team slower. Plus giving turn meter. She's outright going to be overall, like, to me, a top member for not only PvE, but PvP as well, with all the just overall great buffs within her kit. And so she is one that I'm definitely going to want to pick up, hopefully at some point. But she is another one of my reroll targets that I will be looking at. Now, those are the top 3 in here, and these are one of those 3 are going to be the more likely ones that I get. But then there are the other 2, which are going to be down here in the light and dark one. And the 2 units that I'm looking at down here, the first one's going to be Doiki. And a big thing with her, and I'm probably saying her name wrong, but a big thing with her is she's like all about the turn manipulation within her kit. So she like has this backup one stack of data stream. So data stream is in here. Each stack increases damage dealt by 2.5% and speed by 2.5. So a big ability to give a lot of speed, because you can get up to 12 stacks on this. And you have, like, it's built into her kit overall on that buff here. So a lot of speed and turn manipulation. You have it on her skill here as well. Now, I have not covered her on a video yet. But overall, that's like her entire kit is basically speeding up your team overall. And, like, I think that's going to be extremely important in PvP to control the field. Because one thing that I found annoying in PvE at this point so far is when the enemy keeps going and I'm not going fast. That's been like the hardest part in some of the PvE content I've done. So I feel like it's going to be the same thing in PvP. If the other person's going more times than you, they're going to have a better chance of winning. So this is the way that I think you can take advantage of that. And I think she's a really, really good one for that, with overall her entire kit being built around it. So a great target there. Unlikely to get her just because of the lower rate, but if I do, she's definitely a great one to start with. Now, she's also on the extra infinity one, which is one that specifically targets the light and dark ones. But she's definitely one, if I do get her on this banner, that I will consider that account good to go. And the other one is another one that I've covered here. My 5th and final one that's going to be a target rerolls is going to be Lily. And just like the others, has some turn manipulation within her kit. And that you have right off the bat here with her single target attack here. Now, you can do both on here, you can increase your crit damage. So this is one she actually pairs well with Rosa really well, and that's one reason I really liked her as well. But you have you have increasing speed, huge increased crit damage. So if you have like Rosa, for example, that's really good. And then you get the turn meter manipulation with Twin Trick here, and you have all kinds of ways to apply it. So she is just another overall great unit on the turn manipulation per se. But and I've already made a video on her, and so she's one that I would really like to get. But as you can see, my common trend on my reroll targets currently at this point, we'll kind of have to see what feedback and people say when they try out the characters on the final test as well, because I like to take other people's opinions into account as well when I make my own decisions. But overall, those are my favorite units because of that. And you've also probably noticed another trend. They are all, you could probably call them all waifu characters. And that is because that's kind of the direction I want to kind of go. Kind of a unique direction that you might not see with a lot of other people, is doing like the waifu team for the PvP. Just a unique concept for me, simply because that's pretty much most of the games I cover now with Girls Frontline 2 and Nikkei. And so I'm going to just kind of go that direction here as well. And so those are my top 5 units. Now, there's plenty of other good ones. They're all really, I find they're all really balanced in their different way. It's just going to be making synergetic teams. So when I pull a reroll and get one of these units, so if I get like Suki Mi here, I'm going to find who are her best synergies, which you can kind of tell here. You have a little book down here to tell you that. And those are going to be kind of your units. These like recommended ones will be the initial ones you may want to look at once you get them when it comes to pulling your subsequent units in the future. And that's kind of how I'll approach it here. Those are just the ones that are going to be like, I'm good to go. Now I'm going to build around them once I get going. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That was just it for this video. I'm going to be continuing to go over the characters. So the ones that I have not covered on this list yet, those will be the next ones I cover. And then I'm going to continue going through the other ones. And then after I've kind of gone over the kits, I will then start going over actually building those units out especially once we get closer and closer to launch. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. And if you like my content, if you could like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.